Most of us treat our pets like one of the family, and we wouldn't dream of deliberately making them suffer. But every year, the Scottish SPCA saves thousands of domestic pets, farm animals, and wildlife from harm and danger. Now the charity is opening its doors to reveal how they rescue Scotland's abused, abandoned, and injured animals. Coming up, it's a race against time to save stranded whales.
Because of her weight, she's putting a lot of pressure on her internal organs.
And Inspector Allison takes no prisoners.
But this top cage, there was no water in yesterday.
She had a rolling.
She didn't when I was here.
Durness is the most northwesterly village on mainland Scotland. It lies close to Cape Wrath, where many ships have come to grief in treacherous seas. Today, another drama is unfolding in the waters around the Northern Highlands. A pod of around 60 long-finned pilot whales has appeared, and 35 of them have stranded at low tide. If an injured member of the group gets its bearings wrong, it's not uncommon for the whole pod to follow. They could also have become startled by sonar or an underwater earthquake, or come inshore to feed on squid, their favourite food. Whatever the cause, this is the largest ever recorded stranding of pilot whales in Scotland.
We've never dealt with numbers before. We've had maybe 7 dolphins I've dealt with, but that's the most, which is controllable and it's workable. But when you've got 35 stranded, it was a nightmare.
While Andy Brown makes his way from Inverness, his colleague Audrey Gunn joins locals, holidaymakers and the emergency services in a desperate attempt to save as many of the animals as possible.
Because of her weight, she's putting a lot of pressure on her internal organs.
Outside water, a whale can't maintain its body temperature and its skin will dry out. Pouring cold water on it helps it stay cool.
It's quite emotional when you're with like a calf and it's parent, and the actual just the noise, that they make.
It's a warm and sunny day, so it's also important to cover the whales with cloths to protect them from sunburn. The stranded whales are getting more and more distressed. Out of water, their huge weight will crush their organs. Some of them have beached on their side or on top of each other, and others are breathing in sand. It's now a race against the clock to get the whales refloated before they die. The Scottish SPCA's Wildlife Rescue Centre at Middlebank in Fife. Staff here care for all sorts of wildlife.
Go on, sweetie. There we go.
They really are tiny.
But in terms of sheer numbers, birds are the most common. In fact, the Society is the only national charity which rescues birds in Scotland.
Well, it's been quite a week, hasn't it?
It's certainly been different. It doesn't help with the wind that's actually picked up was that Monday and Tuesday. And the numbers, when you think about it, the numbers have actually almost doubled within about 2 or 3 days for what we've got in sight.
Quite incredible, isn't it? I don't know how Lorraine copes, to be honest.
Lorraine Gow started working with the charity when she was made redundant as a graphic designer.
I've always loved animals since I was very little, and rescue everything. I have to touch everything, I have to pick things up, and I have to, it's just one of these things. I think it's in you. You really connect. You can see them as life and as personalities and, something worth fighting for.
Lorraine's the acknowledged bird lady of Middlebank, and she's got a real job on her hands just now. High winds have knocked hundreds of fledglings out of their nests, including 30 baby blue tits.
The recipe that we use is lean steak mince mixed with KT powder and lactide, which is a high-energy sort of fluid. And we also add sunflower hearts as well, like ground-up sunflower hearts, and you get this sort of mixture here, which is, it looks quite messy, but it's actually really, really clean food to feed the birds. It doesn't get on the feathers, and you can pick tiny little pieces up, and you can be really accurate, and it gives them all the energy that they need. It's really working for us. It's keeping these little guys going.
The baby blue tits will need all the energy they can get if they're to survive. Rothy May, near Huntly, and Senior Inspector Alison Simpson has arrived at a house she's already visited after claims 2 dogs are not being cared for.
The owners contacted me last night, but I'm going back to speak to them. The dogs were being kept in cages, which was totally unacceptable. There was no water, no bedding, faeces in the cages, so I've told them I need to come and speak to them about how the dogs are being kept.
Some people hate being told they don't know how to look after their animals, so often these visits don't go well.
When I was down yesterday, there was no bedding, there was no water.
Well, they had water in when I came in yesterday.
Well, certainly they didn't. If it's okay, we'll just go in and have a look. I just looked through your window, so I couldn't obviously see in the bottom cage. But this top cage, there was no water in yesterday.
Well, she had her bowl in.
She didn't when I was here.
But my brother was just down, you must have just missed him yesterday, because...
But in between his visits, obviously, that dog had no water, and it was hot yesterday. These cages, I need to see the size of the dog to see if the cages are big enough for the dogs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll just take one at a time, because...
Aye, that's fine, yeah. Are they okay, yeah?
It's a common problem for the Scottish SPCA. People who don't realise they can't leave their dogs alone for hours without food and water. Although Alison believes the owner's brother checked on the animals, she has some strong words about their future welfare.
What I saw yesterday, and you telling me that somebody's just coming in 3 times, it's not acceptable to keep them in there like that.
I'm here normally all the time anyway.
Yeah, but since Sunday you weren't.
Yeah, because I was away and
Yeah.
way down. My brother was supposed to be checking on them.
Yeah, but even if your brother's coming in 3 or 4 times a day, you can't keep them in that cages for that length of time, just getting out 3 or 4 times. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? I'm saying that
They're out all the time when I'm here.
Yeah, but yes, when you're here. But if you're going away, you're going to need to make some other arrangements.
Yeah.
You just want to let me see the other one as well.
Cassie.
Hello, Cassie. Hello, you. I see ya.
The young owner will need to take Alison's advice on board, otherwise her dogs could be removed.
Now that size of cage is obviously fine for a dog her size.
Yeah.
I haven't got a problem with that. But if you're keeping a dog in a cage, you need to provide water and some sort of bedding.
Yeah.
Now, like I say, when I was here yesterday, there was 2 faeces in that cage, so the dog had obviously been in there for a long...
Yeah, but he had been down in the morning and you just missed him.
It's fine to have somebody coming in and checking on the dogs, but you can't keep them in that cages whilst you're doing it. It's not acceptable. So, you know, keep it in mind. I haven't got a problem with you, when you're here, putting them in that cages for short periods of time, but obviously not what's happened, and you've got to take that on board.
They're not ill-treated when they're in there. They get fed and they get watered and they're looked after. They get walks. So it's not like I'm being mean to them or that. It's easier to keep them under control when they're in their cages.
There's no malice there, and cages do have their place if you've got destructive dogs. My objection is, long term, they cannot be comfortable in there, and to put them in there for an hour or 2 at a time when she's there is fine, but to go and leave them with somebody checking on them 2 or 3 times a day is not fine. It's not unacceptable, which I think she's taken on board, and she says she won't do it again. She'll make other arrangements next time.
Back in Durness and Sutherland, and the operation to save 35 stranded pilot whales is reaching crisis point. It's not clear why the animals got into trouble. They could have followed an injured member of the pod, or their complicated sonar system might have short-circuited. Some of the whales are being successfully refloated and herded back out to sea on a higher tide. But others have stranded further up the sandbar on the Kyle of Durness. They've been out of the water for several hours, and rescuers know they don't have long to save them. It's a desperate situation. Around 20 whales are still in extreme peril. These baby blue tits arrived at the Scottish SPCA's Wildlife Rescue Centre in Middlebank a few days ago. They have to be fed every 2 hours, and because they're so weak, that can't stop when Lorraine Gow finishes her shift. So the birds are getting a change of scenery. Lorraine takes them home to Glenrothes, where the 2-hourly feed cycle will continue.
It's important, I think, to get a little nestling to sort of bond with you, because they need to know that their mum's around, they need to know that they're going to get fed and that they feel safe. If you can't establish that, you're going to have a little bird that's not going to gape, it's going to be frightened, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to die.
It's vital to strike the right balance.
And then you start to feed.
Lorraine won't spend so long with the birds that they become tame, but she has to make sure they survive this crucial early stage of their lives.
It's really hard, not to get attached to them. And if one dies, you do find it, you blame yourself. Could you have done something different? Could you have done something better? But you've just got to take it on the chin and realise that it's nature, and to be honest, all of them shouldn't be here right now at all, because they were rescued. They would have been dead by now. So, you're giving them a great chance.
Night has fallen over Durness in the north of Scotland. But the rescue operation to save the stranded pilot whales continues. 10 have been successfully refloated. But double that number are still in trouble, and with each passing hour, their chances of making it back out to sea alive are getting smaller. The whales are on 3 separate parts of the beach, and the main concern is now with a mother and calf who are in a bad way.
The mother is getting stressed a little bit, so hopefully we're going to try and refloat her as quick as possible. The calf's about 9 months old, possibly a year, so hopefully the two of them will go out together.
Could one maybe like one and one jeep like that one, and one of your jeeps like that one?
Senior Inspector Andy Brown has arrived from Inverness to give much-needed support to the efforts.
If one can do over the mother and the calf, another light up this one here would be good. Cheers out, thanks. Personally, this is the biggest us in my strandings have been at, for just pure numbers. And just where they're all spread out. I've dealt with dolphins, 6 or 7 I think is the most I've had before, so this is really a lot of animals. Out of the 35, I think we've maybe got 25 refloated. The rest had perished before we got there. So that is good to that extent.
All right.
Not really.
Dozens of people have been on the beach helping, many of them since the alarm was raised this morning. It's been a tough day, physically and emotionally.
The instinct took over of trying to look after somebody or something in distress, really. So the fact that it was a whale was almost not a factor at all. It was just a fellow creature in distress, and we were just doing what we could for it.
It's approaching 1 a.m. and another high tide. It's time to try and refloat the mother and her calf. But the water is coming in fast, and the beach has become an emergency crew-only zone.
There's a safety thing with human life as well, so we've got to be very wary. The Coast Guard guys are keeping things an eye out, but obviously sometimes people don't listen.
We'll be here till it's done.
Good. Yeah, good.
30 minutes later, Andy appears out of the gloom.
We've got mum and calf refloated. They have got off. Fortunately, we don't know where, but they're refloating, so they have got a chance. The number of animals and the result we've had, yes, some have died, but for 60 plus 70, I mean, it's hard to say, estimation. And to get so many refloated, I mean, it's been pretty successful in that respect. Yeah, we've had deaths, but for the outcome, as it was at 6, 7 o'clock with what we had in front of us, we've done pretty well.
Good morning, Scottish SPCA. How can I help you?
We've got an injured fox in our garden that seems to have lost part of its back leg.
Are you able to get within 6 feet with it without it moving on?
Oh, I think so, yeah. It's hiding itself in a corner of the garden at the minute.
An injured fox cub has been discovered behind some bins in a garden in Polmont near Falkirk.
And it came right up there when I was standing here.
Oh, okie doke. And what's it done to itself? Or can you...
It's not got a paw in its back, one of the back legs, it's right off.
If the fox cub has lost part of its leg, it won't be able to survive in the wild.
It really was only 3 feet from my feet, and it wasn't bothered that I was there, even when I called for the fireman to come out and see it. And then I realised one of its legs didn't look right, so we called the SPCA.
Inspector Leanne McPake needs to assess the cub's condition quickly.
Might be able to get it now.
Now Leanne has the cub in her hands, she can see how badly injured it is. And it's one of the worst wounds she's come across in her 2 years as an inspector.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. It's got no use of that back leg. It looks and it smells really infected. It's got no paw left at all. The bone's exposed just there. It'll be in excruciating pain. Unfortunately, I think the best thing for this wee man is to be put to sleep, to be put out of his pain. I'm going to take him into the van just now. Its leg was completely unusable. There was quite a smell, there was a lot of infection in there. It wouldn't have survived, even with antibiotics. The thing with wildlife, if there's no way of re-releasing them, it's not fair to keep them in captivity.
It's early morning in Durness and Sutherland, and the success of the rescue operation to save the stranded pilot whales can be assessed. Of the 35 that beached, 15 were refloated and sent back out to sea. Sadly, another 15 perished on the sands and on rocks around the Kyle of Durness.
Logistically, it was just a nightmare with 2 separate strandings in 2 different areas, maybe half a mile apart. The main pod that stranded, the 35, were inaccessible land. We had to get boats to go across them. Just getting manpower out there was the biggest problem. Once we got the manpower out and we got a lot of them upright to get their equilibrium back, we kept them upright. It was quite important for them so they can get their bearings when the tide did come in and we got them refloated again.
5 more whales stranded on a sandbar will have to be put to sleep. When they are out of the water, their weight crushes their organs and there's no alternative. The distressing job will be carried out by a team of vets from the Scottish Marine Animal Stranding Scheme. Because of the tide pattern,
you've got about 20 minutes.
They don't have long to perform the awful but necessary task. The whales, including the mother and calf that rescuers tried to refloat the previous night, have been humanely put to sleep, and their suffering, thankfully, is over.
There were multiple strandings in an area which is an almost ideal whale trap, where the tidal range is massive. So it was an amazing executed job to manage to get the animals back into the water, and then that wasn't the end of it. Once they were in the water, they had to be herded, literally, back out to sea.
Post-mortems were carried out on all the dead whales. One large male had septic arthritis, but there was no other physiological reason for the pilot whales to come ashore. This has been the biggest recorded stranding of its kind in Scotland, and although carcasses litter the sandbar and surrounding rocks, the rescue operation was actually a success.
We had 60 to 70 pilot whales come into a bay with the possibility of everything stranding. Now we have got 40 plus whales back to sea, which is maybe 2/3, which is excellent. It's always sad when some die, but we really had to make decisions and be realistic about these decisions, whereby the biggest chance of getting the most animals refloated, and I think in all we did succeed.
The baby blue tits have been at the Scottish SPCA's Wildlife Rescue Centre at Middlebank for almost 3 weeks, and they're now ready to be released.
They're absolutely in beautiful condition. They've come on really, really well. To have 30 at the same time is a huge amount. So it's been really good that we've got all these guys through. It's been a really successful year for the blue tits. And they really don't want to know me anymore, so it's just a case of letting them go free.
It's time for the birds to leave the aviary. And although she's been almost as close to them as a mother, Lorraine is delighted to see them go.
They've absolutely just flown, and it's great to see that. They've not hung around and they're not sitting on my shoulder or anything like that, you know, they've just completely bolted, so that's what we want to see. It's a good release.